Shalom. First and foremost, call Allah Yahawah, baha, Hamashiach Yahawashi, baha, Harachakwadash. Double honor to the elder apostles of great millstone that taught me this truth, and greetings and salutations to you sincere brothers that are hopeful elect throughout the four winds, pushing the gospel. And basically, this is going to be a quick response to the brother Mike Allah in the LA camp, GMS Ancient of Days camp. And it's in regards to the KISS principle, which basically goes into keeping keeping it simple. All right. The acronym is Keep It Simple, Stupid. In other words, be concise with your explanations. And that's something that, I'm still learning myself as well as other brothers. We tend to get long winded. Certain brothers, they feel that it's necessary to go 4, 5 deep instead of just keeping it simple so that the brothers and even sisters out there that watch our videos can get edified, because we tend to over explain ourselves, and people listening can get caught up, and basically get lost. You end up losing them, and they don't know where you're going with it. So you got to kind of narrow down your points and get straightforward. So I just want to land back off of this lesson. It was a very edifying and solid lesson. And I thought to myself, hey, what about Yahawashi, who left us plenty of examples of how he kept it simple, and how he dealt with the devil, and how he dealt with the wicked Pharisees who kept on trying to entangle him and trap him in his words. Yahweh Shai would leave them statements very, very concise, very brief, and it would be not only simple but also effective. All right. He left them short but effective answers that would leave them quiet. They would be very speechless, and they would marvel at Yahweh Shai because of the things that he would say, and they would be dumbfounded. Well, that's just like the brother said in this video. Hey, us men of the Lord, we got to exhibit that method, and use that as well. You know, be simple, be wise as a serpent, and harmless as a dove. Yahweh Shai, when he had these encounters, he was being wise and crafty as a serpent, but he was also harmless as a dove. All right. So land back, and I just want to start with this real quick, because in this article that the brother found, it gave an excerpt on Einstein, where basically he made the statement: if you can't explain something, then you don't fully understand it. So in other words, if you don't fully explain, if you don't fully understand something, then it's best for you to not explain it. All right, and that leads me to this scripture in Sirach, the Apocrypha, the book of Sirach, chapter 5, verse. I'm gonna start at 12. It says, "If thou hast understanding, understand thy neighbor. If not, lay thy hand upon thy mouth. Honor and shame is in the talk, and the tongue of man is his fall." So sometimes, even when you explain certain things out there, because we got audience now, we got Jake, a lot of brothers waking up, and you even got certain women. All right, there's even women that listen and watch us. And if you trying to go so deep, trying to sound all extra intellectual in your videos, and then you start going in explaining things outside of the scriptures that have nothing to do with the point in hand that you're addressing, you're causing confusion for your listeners, man, your audience. All right. And sometimes you can even over explain yourself to the point where you'll end up making an error within your statement, because the scriptures tell you about slipping, with the tongue. And that can happen, especially if you're long-winded. And I tend to watch myself, because we have a habit of over explaining things, because we believe that we can explain it better than the scriptures explaining it. But the scriptures is always directing to the point. All right. You can cut somebody simply with just using the words of the scriptures. You ain't got to add your words to it. And it's very short and very effective. That's why the scriptures tell you his word cut as a two-edged sword. All right, sharper than any two-edged sword, and it cuts through the heart, man. It cuts to the soul, to the bone and marrow, man. All right, and Yahawashi did just that. He would leave them with daggers spiritually that would leave them cut to the point where they would be silent or they would want to actually harm that man. Because Yahawashi had wittiness. All right, he was very cunning and clever, just like the wicked Pharisees were cunning and clever on the left hand, and Yahawashi is cunning and clever on the right hand in righteousness, man. And in this lesson, I basically want to bring that out, just for edification. And this is the first example I got pulled up. I got other ones that I'm going to go into, but this one in particular, Yahawashi basically kept it simple. And we're going to read it. This is dealing with the woman taken in adultery. All right. Red letter this real quick. This is John 8:1. Yahawashi went unto the Mount of Olives, and early in the morning he came again into the temple, and all the people came unto him and he sat down and taught them. And the scribes and Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery. And when they had set her in the midst, they say unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act. Now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned. But what sayest thou? As if Yahawashi is going to advocate against the law of the Most High. These men had, they had left-hand motives, agendas, man. That's these wicked scribes and Pharisees. And those men they're even on the scene to this very day. All right, we just recently rebuked some. But anyway, verse 6, it says, this they said, tempting him that they might have to accuse him. And this was the purpose of why they would come to Yahawashi. They would have counsel among themselves of how they're going to prove that he's not the son of the Most High, or he's not a man of the Lord. No, that this can't be the Messiah. They was very hard bent and dedicated to trying to prove that Yahawashi was not the son of the Most High. But little did they know that this was in fact the only begotten son of Yahawah. All right, and they tried to be witty, but Yahawashi had all the wittiness. Yahawashi was clever, and he knew their thoughts. So let's learn from this. But Yahawashi stooped down and with his finger wrote on the ground as though he heard them not. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. Now, the understanding that the scriptures tell you that those Pharisees, the wicked Sadducees and all those different men, they were clearly in sin, but they were being hypocrites because they were imposing the sin on everybody else. So Yahawashi said a direct, concise statement. All right, he made a very short but effective statement on the matter, and it left basically no room for any of these men to come against him. They were basically cut to the heart, man. It was direct. All right, it was direct, straightforward. Any of y'all that's not with sin, you're not guilty of no sin. You be the first to stone her. And you know that crushed them, man. All right. That's why it says continuing on, and again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. And they which heard it, being convicted by their own conscience, went out one by one, being at the eldest even unto the last, and Yahawashi was left alone, and the woman standing in the midst. So that lets you know right there, Yahawashi already knew that those men were in sin. And them coming to him with this question, he knew that they were full of shit. And he already had it in his mind what he was going to say to them. See, Yahawashi was a whole different breed, man. This is a son of the Most High. You can't you can't get one up on him. He already knew what the deal was, you know? So Yahawashi, he kept it simple with his answer. And they had nothing to refute that. Okay? They could not gainsay or resist what he said. And you'll see that the Lord left no room for the bullshit every time they had an encounter. And he would always keep it simple. Okay? He kept it straightforward, direct, and to the point. All right? That they would, the only thing left for them was to basically, tuck their tails, close their goddamn mouth, and walk away, or to get cornered with him. That's all. That's all that would happen in every encounter. All right. So let me go to the next example. This is Matthew 22, starting at 15. It says, "Then went the Pharisees and took counsel how they might entangle him in his talk. And they sent out unto him their disciples with the Herodians, saying, Master, we know not thou, we know that thou art true, and teachest the way of God in truth. Neither carest thou for any man, for thou regardest not the person of men. Tell us therefore, what thinkest thou?" Basically, what you think. Is it lawful to give tribute unto Caesar or not? Now, when they said this, when they posed this question to the Lord, he saw these niggas were being complete assholes. Because if going into the history, what you had to pay the tribute in was the Roman denarius at the time. And on that denarius was I believe it was the face of Augustus Caesar, if I'm not mistaken. And what it reads on there is in Latin, it has Tiberius Caesar's name, and then it also says the son of the divine Augustus, basically implying that Tiberius is the son of the divine one, which Augustus um, is supposed to be the divine one, right? So them asking Yahawashi that, they thought they was gonna trip him up. Now let me red letter this so you can see the simple explanation that Yahawashi left him. Because going back to that particular K.I.S.S method, it's even and it's also similar to the Occam's razor method. The simplest explanation is the most sophisticated answer. All right? The simplest explanation is usually the best answer. So Yahawashi being keeping it consistent, all right, and having full understanding, he was able to break their whole shit down, their whole counsel, what they asked him, and he knew what their intent was when they asked him that. So what did he do? He kept it simple. But Yahawashi perceived their wickedness and said, "Why tempt ye me, you hypocrites? You fucking assholes. Show me the tribute money." And they brought unto him a penny, which would have to have been that of the denarius. And he said unto them, "Whose is this image and superscription?" They said unto him, "Caesar's." Then saith he unto them, "Render therefore unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's." All right, pay that man what he wants. And unto the Most High, the things that are the Most High. So give this devil the things that he wants, but give the Most High what he wants. All right, showing you that Yahawashi is not contrary to his father. They're all on the same accord, man. But they was thinking that he was going to give a totally different explanation. And his explanation was going to basically get him in trouble with these wicked ass chief priests and wicked Pharisees and shit, man. All right. They always thought that they would have the one up on Yahawashi, but Yahawashi, he was on a total different level. All right, and he didn't have to make a long ass speech to explain that. He made it. He gave it in the most simplest form. You see this coin right here? I know what y'all intending to say. What I'm gonna say about this? Well, you see his face. That belongs to him. So give what's his unto him, and in the things that the Lord requires of you, you give that to the Most High. Okay, simple and plain. And guess what? This was speech. This was priceless. And when they had heard these words, they marveled and left him and went their way. Yeah, because they ain't got shit to say. Ain't no rebuttal. You can't trap him up in his words. You can't uh, um, condemn him in his speech. You can't do none of that. Okay? They marveled at that, like, oh shit. We didn't think he was gonna come that wise, you know? So hey, we gotta be just as wise and sharp, man, just like Yahawashi was. And you gotta keep it simple. Hey, usually when we out there dealing with them wicked them wicked scoffers and scorners, the best way to really deal with those clowns is to just slice their ass up with the word, man. Just hit them straight up with daggers right between the fourth and fifth rib. Spiritually, man. You know? That's the best way to get them. Even dealing with the Christians, the best way to get them is to cut their ass up with a direct precept. Because the precepts is straightforward. It speaks for itself. You know? So and they tried several attempts on him again, and it didn't work out. So the next example is when the Lord was conversing with the devil, and he kept it simple with the devil. All right, Matthew 4:1 it says, "Then was Yahawashi laid up of the spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil, and when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward an hungered. And when the tempter came to him, and he said, If thou be the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread. But he answered and said, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High." That's it. Cut. The devil ain't got nothing to say about it. He couldn't refute that. You know? So he was like, well, let me try something else, man. Maybe that wasn't good enough. Let me try to tempt him again with something a little more clever. Verse 5, Then the devil taketh him up unto the holy city, and setteth him on a pinnacle of the temple, and saith unto him, If thou be the Son of the Most High, cast thyself down, for it is written, He shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against a stone. Yahawashi said unto him, It is written again. All right, another precept, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy power. All right, so boom, the devil is cut again. He like, oh shit, that ain't good enough. Well, shoot, let me take it one more step. Let me see if I could come from this angle and see if I could trap him. Because one thing for sure is when you just leave it at that with the word of the Most High, what the Lord say, you can't really refute that. If that's the word of the Most High, man, it's nothing to be put to it after that, lest you be found a liar. Okay, so that's the same way. Even when we in this, when we doing this work, man, we gotta learn how to narrow everything down and get straight to the point. Because it's like the elder Apostle Gabar said, hey, this is about edifying. It's not about sounding deep or trying to appear to be super deep. It's about edification, man. Making sure that the flock is being fed. You know, making sure that the brothers coming in really, really, truly understand what's being spoken. So the message that you're preaching, you got to make sure it's easy to understand. All right. Verse 8. And again, the devil taketh him up into a exceeding high mountain, and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them, and saith unto him, all these things will I give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me. Then saith Yahawashi unto him, get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, thou shalt worship the Lord thy power, and him only shalt thou serve. Another cut. So he cut the devil 3 times consecutively with very short, simple answers, which were really answers from the Most High, because these are the words of the Most High. All right, these are precepts, these are laws, you know. So really, the best simple explanation is going back to a precept. That explains it better than any way we could explain this knowledge, man. The word itself. All right. And Yahawashi he left nothing for this devil, man. That's why when you read next, it says, then the devil leaveth him. And behold, angels came and ministered. So the devil had to flee. He had to get up out of there. Because Yahawashi was he was too wise, man. You know? Yahawashi was more witty than the devil. All right. If you over explain certain things, you run the risk of, saying things that you either didn't mean, or you'll not realize that you're making an error in your statement trying to explain certain things. That's why the scriptures tell you that you know it speaks about slipping with the tongue, but not from the heart. you know so it's best to not over explain certain things, man. Just be concise with it, man. All right. And this goes for myself, because I have the habit, and other brothers, we all have the habit when we over explain certain things, you know and it's not malicious intent, but it's just that's just how we deal, but this principle, this is something that we must practice. All right, because you see how effective it was when Yahweh was using it, when he came when the wicked Pharisees came against him, and when the devil came against him, you know because you leave nothing open for them. All right, this is Matthew 4. Shalaki already done read that. We get this next example. All right, this is when Yahawashi went into the temple and started overthrowing tables and tearing them niggas up for making the Lord's house a house of merchandise. This is Matthew 21:12. And Yahawashi went into the temple of the Most High and cast out all them that sold and bought in the temple, and overthrew the tables of the money changers and the seats of them that sold doves, and said unto them, it is written, my house shall be called the house of prayer, but you have made it a den of thieves. And the blind and the lame came unto him in the temple, and he healed them. And when the chief priests and scribes saw the wonderful things that he did, and the children crying in the temple, saying, Hosanna to the Son of David, they were sore displeased. All right, because basically those children, they were basically praising Yahawashi for the wonderful works, those miracles that he was performing. All right, and I believe this is a Hebrew term, and it's like a explanation of adoration. You know, so those wicked chief priests and scribes, they saw the praise that Yahushua was getting, and they started to get displeased. So they asked him this, and said unto him, hearest thou what these say? Do you hear what these people, these kids are saying? And Yahushua said unto them, yeah, have you never read, out of the mouth of babes and sucklings thou hast perfected praise? Cut, cut. And that was a question, man. That was a rhetorical question, and it was a simple question. And usually you could cut people with the simplest questions, man. Yahawashi, he stayed doing that too. Okay? You could actually answer questions with other questions. Yahawashi did that. He quoted us, this is Psalms the 8th chapter, you know? And you know they had to have thought about that, like, oh shit, you know? They didn't have nothing to refute, nothing to debunk, nothing to accuse him of, man. That was right on time. You know, hey, you didn't read in Psalms the 8th chapter about this? Because that's exactly what was happening. It was fulfilling a prophecy. And they tripped, they marveled, and it says, and he left them. So he left them with it, man. And Yahweh Shai stay sticking it to them devils, man. Them niggas, the Lord, he kept sticking it to him, man. That's like when you walk up to somebody or somebody walk up to you, you know what I'm saying? And words is exchanged, and right when you go to cut their ass, you stick them with a dagger or a little sharp sword. And in every movie that shows that type of scene where they up close and personal, and then all you see is just an arm go forward, like, you know what I mean? And then next thing you know, y'all both going down slowly but surely, and then you go down with him until he basically drops to the fucking ground, and then you stick your sword up out of him, and you see the facial expression change on that person when you just stuck that dagger in him. Well, that's how the Lord spiritually left them wicked ass Pharisees, man, and chief priests. He would poke their ass right in the middle of in between the fourth and fifth rib, and spiritually, and lead their ass, man, leave them with nothing. And he did it just keeping it very just a quick cut, man. All right, and that's Yahweh Shai knowing how to wield that sword, man. All right. So that's the example on that. All right, being very very concise, keeping it simple. Yahweh Shai kept it simple, man. All right. So this is the last example. This is Matthew 27:11. And Yahweh Shai stood before the governor. All right, and this was during the time of his crucifixion. And Yahweh Shai stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, saying, art thou the king of the Jews? And Yahweh Shai said unto him, thou sayest. Now notice Yahweh Shai only said two words. He said two words. And those two words, it kept him from being condemned. It kept him from incriminating himself. He didn't have to explain anything. They asked him that question, and he said, hey, you said. And that was true. So that left nothing for this Roman governor to condemn Yahweh Shai, man. Yahweh Shai was, hey, man, this is wisdom in a nutshell. All right? This is prudency. Okay? And he kept it simple, man. Because if you get to talking too much, you can easily condemn yourself. You could put your foot in your own mouth. It could give you away. Yahweh Shai was on a different level. He was always privy to the craftiness of men. All right. So that was one of the examples. I'm pretty sure there's many more, but you know basically just to conclude the lesson, it's definitely best that we are to use the practice of K.I.S.S. Keep it simple, stupid. It's about simplicity, man. All right. Yahweh Shai was he kept it simple with all these niggas that kept coming against him. And every time they came against them, they ended up looking like the assholes. They were the ones that were confounded and put to shame. All right, and it shows you the wittiness of Yahawashi, that this man was totally endowed with the understanding. All right, so that would make sense that if you can't explain something, that's because you don't have the full understanding of it. All right, and if you have full understanding of something, then you could explain things in its simplest forms, in its simplest way. All right, you could explain it in the most simplest way, and it'd be very effective. All right, and we had a brother, that was in the camp, rest in paradise to the brother, but he was good at actually encapsulating, certain sayings, and he had a page that he was gonna start doing called GMS layman's terms, basically putting everything in layman's terms, man, making it simple. And that brother, he was good at that, you know. But Lord willing, this was edifying. I don't want to go too long on this, but I just want to land back off of the lesson that this brother did. It was very solid, very edifying. All right, and hey, this is part of growth. Okay, using wisdom. All right, because like that recent exhortation from the elder apostle Gabar, hey, we got to do all things unto edification, man. Okay, so with that, I'm gonna close. I'm gonna give all praises to Yahawah, Hashem Yahawashi, double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Shalom.